it's to do with suffering, but the understanding of suffering, not the avoidance of it. So nothing changes. An example would be, you grew up in a bedroom in a house, and in the cupboard there's this scary monster, and you've been terrified of it your whole life. And you sleep in there, and you turn the lights on in the bedroom, you have a night light, you have your mum and dad come and cuddle you, give you blankets, you're scared of this thing, you're terrified of it, and it haunts your life, let's say. So you start coming up with all kinds of strategies to protect yourself from this monster. And then one day, you meet someone, a friend, and they say, you know that monster in your cupboard, have you ever really looked at it? And you're like, no, I can just see it, it's scary. So you open up the cupboard, they're like, take a look, and it's a hat on a broomstick with a coat hanging on it. It never was a scary thing. Nothing's changed, it's still there, but now you know what it is. So that's what this is like. When you know the foundation of appearances, the suffering vanishes without anything changing, because you know its true nature. That's just and that is the metaphor of what happens. But we are limited in our ability to transmit this knowledge because we use a language to do it. But the strongest invitation of all of this whole process is that you must experience it in your own life. You must be the one that looks in the cupboard and recognizes it's a hat on a stick with a coat hanging on it. If you don't see that yourself, you're forever dependent on a teacher like me to tell you that's what it is. And that's not the point. I'm not trying to build up to be a teacher of knowledge. I'm a pointer of what's already true about you. So if you don't see it, you're in your own life, it is completely meaningless. It's as powerful as being a fruitarian and knowing all the knowledge about being a fruitarian. You've read all the books, you've gone to all the courses, and you don't eat fruit. But you're all about like, yeah, fruitarian's really good, and wow, it's really healthy for this, and you've never done it. You've never done it. So the invitation is to do it. And it comes about in my experience, there are these stories, fantastic stories that everybody wants to happen to them, of these huge overnight awakenings. But these huge overnight awakenings normally take about 10 years or so to come about. And then they go, wow. And then one day I could see my liberation. And I'm like, who cares? It's timeless anyway. Just enjoy the small liberations in each moment. When you find yourself irritated and you're free of it. When you find yourself somewhere where you would be triggered and you're triggered, but you're not triggered. You're triggered in that the monster in the cupboard appears with the hat and the coat, but you're not reacting to it. This whole week for me, through whole Christmas, has been a series of social anxieties, even in the house, even outside the house, even in my room on my own, even just everywhere. There's this continual sense of I don't belong or I've done something wrong. I don't know where it comes from. And if I was to rely on conventional means, I could call up a hypnotherapist and we could do a session to help relax the amygdala, or I could go and see an EFT practitioner, and I'm both of those, and I could do tapping even though I feel anxious. Or I could go up to people, there's no one here specifically, but I could go up to someone and say, like say it's my dad for instance, I'd be like, look, every time I see you I feel anxious, can we talk about this? And we try and solve it. And all these things are great, they're all great. I could go for a run and like burn off these feelings, right, and come back and feel, oh, I feel really good now. But who knows, it's just gonna come back. It always just comes back, and then it goes away completely. When you recognize it as awareness, you can have these human things going on, but you're just not affected by it. It's not made 1 millimeter of difference to my day, having this appearance floating around this pure space of not belonging, anxiety, something's wrong. It just hangs around like that. It's like a breeze in the air. The air is not affected by the breeze. Air is not affected by the breeze. The ocean is not affected by the waves, right? My awareness is not affected by more awareness. This could literally be anything. And let's face it, it sometimes is anything. Like, it can literally be anything, right?